Welcome back everyone to another video.
Today we are going to be predicting the 2023 AFL Finals.
Now this is something we have never done before, so there is going to be a couple of controversial ones out there, Steph.
Most definitely. So if you are watching this video, make sure you drop a comment down below on who you believe is going to win this year's granny. Before we dive into our predictions, Locke, can you tell us what you brought to the set today? Because it looks a bit controversial as a Carlton supporter for the finals.
It is a little bit controversial. So as you guys will see on the board here, Carlton and Sydney in the first final. I am a die-hard Carlton fan, and I've actually got the vintage Sydney jersey on.
And over here, the rivalry of the 05-06 grand final, the vintage VFL West Coast jumper. So I like to call myself Daniel Kerr, and you can be maybe, I don't know.
I'll be Barry Hall. I reckon Barry Hall in his prime. I might just shave the hairline, and there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have Daniel Kerr and Barry Hall. Although
actually, Chris Judd's not a bad one as well for a guts, but I'll be Juddy.
Mate, you don't look like Juddy. You certainly don't play anything at all like Juddy. So you have nothing like him. You're nothing like him at all.
I have won 2 flags like Juddy though. He actually only got 1, so maybe I am a better player.
First final at the MCG, an absolute belter of a game. We have
Collingwood versus Melbourne in the qualifying final. What are your thoughts on this game, Locke?
I have one name for you. Nick Dacos. Out for the first final, mate. Yeah. This is going to be interesting and very controversial, but I think he actually carries Collingwood on his shoulders.
Yeah, and I think Collingwood as well, particularly the way they're trying to play this year with that rebound footy off the half-back. I think he's a big out for that first final, so I reckon the odds should be probably flipped around for that one.
Definitely, I think the odds, they have got it wrong. Do you know if Darcy Moore's back?
I'm not sure about Darcy Moore, but even if he does come back, I don't know if he will be right. Hamstring probably won't be back still. I'm thinking more the Ds. I feel like they've got a really solid defense. With Jake Lever and Stephen May down there, it's going to be tough for that Collingwood forward line to break into because at the moment the Pies don't seem to have much chemistry going forward.
Absolutely. I think that you are certainly onto something, Steph. So, with no further ado, I think who will be playing in the second final? Collingwood. Collingwood are going to lose. Collingwood are definitely going to lose this first final.
Jeez, we probably got this first one right. We would already get the first one wrong, but that will send the Ds straight through into the prelim spot over here. So we'll chuck them up.
And I think, Steph, that it is going to be a high-scoring game, and I'm going to say Melbourne by 22 points.
I'm probably going to go the Ds by 12. I think it's going to be a little bit closer, but I think they'll just do enough to get over the line. They've got a really solid defense, and I think they'll really restrict Collingwood scoring, particularly without Dacos on the side.
Beautiful. Now let's get to the second game. Let's get to the juiciest game of the round, as we are both Carlton fans, but I do have the Sydney jersey on. So, Steph, tell us about this game.
So, the first elimination final, Carlton and Sydney. Look, I am a Carlton supporter. It might be a little bit biased. I feel like we're going to bat a little bit too deep, particularly in the midfield with Cripps and Doherty both back into the side, as well as Walsh and Cherry. Now, I feel like on the big ground, we might just get them with our midfield depth. The Swans are a good side, and they've had a really good run going into the finals. But I feel like the Baggers might bat too deep there. What are your thoughts like?
Absolutely, mate. And I think one of the things that a lot of people don't look into is that the game is at the MCG. Mate, you take the Swannies away from the SCG, and they are like a lost puppy. They have absolutely no idea what they're doing, where the footy is, or where they're going to eat their next meal.
So what does that do? That knocks the Sydneys out of the finals, and the Blue Boys, that is set up to be an absolute cracking semi. Carlton and Collingwood, I'll tell you what, if that happens, we will definitely be at that game, and that will be absolutely massive. I'm predicting the Blues by 33. I feel like we're going to have a pretty comfortable win in that first final. I reckon the first half will be close, but we'll break away from there.
I'm going to say Blues by 2 points. I'm going to say it's an absolute close one, and Sammy Walsh is best on ground.
I really hope it isn't 2 points because we've just got tickets to that one. Going to be making a vlog, so if it's 2 points, that is going to seriously be a stressful game to be at.
You give us the introduction to the next round, mate.
Okay, so the next one's the second elimination final. So that is between St Kilda and the Giants.
Now, let me just say one thing. I saw the Giants annihilate Carlton at Marvel Stadium a couple of nights ago, and they are a force to be reckoned with. This is a serious side. I haven't followed them much all year, but oh my God, away from their home, they were phenomenal, Steph. What did you think?
Yeah, I think they've won like 9 of their last 11 games now, so they're in some really good form. And like you said, I don't think many people have watched them, but if you're at the ground watching them play live footy, at the moment, their contest battle around the footy, and then they just break away to run and rebound off the half back at the moment, is insane. And Toby Green, how well is he going?
Oh, mate, he is an absolute pleasure to watch.
Arguably the best in the comp at the moment, I think.
He's everywhere, mate. He's like salt and pepper. He's on everything.
So, controversial. We've probably got a lot of St Kilda supporters, but after watching the Giants on the weekend, especially they played at Marvel Stadium against Carlton, so I feel like it's not going to faze them, the crowd. They played in front of 45,000 the other day, and the Bagger supporters were up early, so I feel like this big stage is going to faze them, and with that, I think the Giants go into that second semi-final.
Absolutely. And Steph, can I just get you to close your eyes for one moment? Close them. Here we have it, the orange lights to represent the Giants. Now, my own personal prediction is Giants by 12 points against St Kilda.
I'm going to go with the Giants by 27. I'm going to say a decent win over the Saints.
Interesting. Let us know what you guys think out there. And I'm sorry, Saints fans. I know so many of you guys will be Saints fans. But unfortunately, I don't think it's the year of St Kilda like every other year.
Okay, that puts us to the second qualifying final. So the Lions versus Port Adelaide. So this is a big one. 2 interstate sides clashing against each other at the Gabba. What are your thoughts on this, Lord?
Now, the best analogy I would have for this one is like trying to make a shark climb a tree. And that would be essentially like trying to make Port Power play good footy at the Gabba. Mate, it's not happening, and seriously, I think the Lions are going to absolutely pulverise them. Port Adelaide, you're kidding yourself for another year, and you may as well go home because I don't think you're going far this year's final series.
Jeez, mate, you've gone whack there. If there's any Port fans out there, drop a comment below if you disagree. But to be honest, I feel like I definitely agree with that log. And the Lions, they haven't lost a game at the Gabba this year, and I know they haven't had the best finals record. Despite this, I feel like Port's not in the form at the moment, and really do feel like the Lions will be moving straight into that second prelim final.
Absolutely. And just for reference, guys, I actually do love Port Adelaide. One of my best friends, Miles Bergman, is playing on the weekend in that side. Number 14 on the wing. He's an absolute star of a player and an even better bloke. So good luck to Miles. Shout out to you, brother. Kick some snags, and hopefully you guys get up. I still am going for you, but mate, I don't like your chances, unfortunately.
Yeah, we definitely want the power to win that one for Miles, but unfortunately don't like the chances just due to the recent form. So that puts us now to the second week of finals. Look, give us a rundown of that first semi-final, Carlton Collingwood.
I will tell you what, I think there is going to be 90,000 AFL fans who can't sleep the night before the game. That is going to be the biggest game of the season. Carlton and Collingwood, arguably the 2 biggest fan bases, head to head at the G. I know it's going to be a pearler of the day, and both sides are in serious form at the moment. They're going to be coming in real hot, Steph.
Yeah, like you mentioned, like I feel like tickets for that game are going to be selling out like toilet paper during COVID. It's just going to be so hard to get your hands on some paper to wipe your cheeks. We played them a few weeks ago, and it was a big clash. And in that game as well, we did have a couple of outs. And the reason why I think we do match up quite well against Collingwood, because I feel like we really can get them in the midfield. And if we win that territory battle, I feel like we have a really good chance in this game. What are your thoughts like?
I totally agree with you, mate. I think if we match them on the inside, we will win that game of footy.
I reckon the Blues will march on to a prelim. It might be a little bit of a biased opinion. I feel like Collingwood's football, they won a lot of games early on in the year, but it wasn't very sustainable in the sense that a lot of their goals are coming off rebound. And in big finals, what stands up is pressure and contest. And that is what the Blues have been absolutely terrific at the last 10 weeks. Just that contest battle. So I feel like that brand of footy is going to step up in a big final like that.
And my own personal prediction, the light say it all himself. Go the Baggers! W season for the big blue boys. Jacob Wiedering down back. Good luck trying to get through him. Honestly, you've got more chance running from your road outside your house through the brick wall at the front of your house than getting through Jacob Wiedering.
Big call there. But you're not wrong. After he lost that money from the bank, he bounced back and you cannot get through the man. Alright, that's enough of that, I think. The semis final we move on to now is Giants and Port Adelaide. Geez, that would be a cracking game. What are your thoughts on this?
Mate, my thoughts are similar to before. I do not like Port Adelaide's chance. I know they're playing at home. I know they've got all the advantage in the world of playing, in front of like 60,000 Port Adelaide fans, but I just don't think they have what it takes this year. Something just is not quite clicking there.
Yeah, particularly at the moment, their forward line, it just hasn't been clicking. Dixon's in and out of the side. Finlayson, he's moving around from ruck to forward line to back. I don't know where they want to play him. So I feel like the Giants, they played Adelaide over well. I don't know if you remember, but a few weeks ago, probably the toughest team to beat this year has been Adelaide and Adelaide. They have absolutely smacked some teams over there. Carlton, St Kilda. They beat the Crows there a few weeks ago, and the Adelaide Oval did not seem to faze them at all. They played that ground really well. Got a good history there. Yeah. So I'm tipping Giants by 11. What about yourself?
I'm going to say Giants by 12. Giants are going to win that game of footy, I do believe.
There we have it.
On that note, the Giant colours are up.
Well, I think we need a little bit more like sort of orange.
Yeah, that's probably a bit better now. Then there were 4. 8 turns into 4, turns into 2, turns into 1. And this game is going to be absolutely massive. At the MCG, Melbourne versus Giants. Melbourne, we had them beating Collingwood in the first qualifying final, having a week off, and then playing again. Now, Steph, I want to ask you a question. Melbourne get a week off before the finals. They win that first final, and then they get another week off. They're pretty much playing one game of footy in a month. Like, how are they going to go after all that time off and not playing?
Look, I think particularly early on in the game, they might struggle a little bit to just find themselves into the game. There has been sort of a history of that where the teams get a week off. They might start a little bit slower. Although at the MCG in a big final, such as the prelim, there'll probably be a lot of Melbourne fans there. Didn't get to see their premiership win back in 2021.
Yeah.
In that COVID year. So I feel like the D's will just find a way to get that job done. I do predict a close one, but I think the D's by 12. I think they'll find a way.
I'm going to say Demons by 52. I actually reckon they're going to blow it out, and I think the reason why is because Giants are going to make their dash early.
Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of like a marathon runner running their PR in the first 10Ks. It's probably not ideal. You've got to pace yourself.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Like, they're going to be going from Marvel Stadium against the Saners up to Adelaide and then back down to the G. So I do agree there. I feel like they're going to make their run early, go real hard, probably get a couple of good wins, but then they're just going to crash back down. So
absolutely,
we're predicting the mighty D's. If you do go for the D's, make sure you let us know down below. Kados, shout out to you. We think they are going to make the granny this year in 2023.
Now, Steph, the next game, Lions, Carlton in the Gabba. Now, first things first. If this is the case, are you getting tickets to the game? Are you flying over?
Look, I think if we made a prelim, we haven't played finals in 10 years since essentially Locke and I were this small. So I think we would try to get tickets and fly over.
Also, I forgot to change the lights for the D's. Now it's red. Sorry, Demons fans. I should have changed them a bit earlier. But the Gabba record when Carlton play there is pretty putrid, mate. Like, we just never play well at the Gabba. I don't know what it is, but just like a fish out of water really there. What do you think?
Yeah, we needed to win a game there last year to get into the finals, and that was atrocious. I think the game was over at quarter time. They put on 7 or 8 goals, piled them on early. Charlie was doing the motorbike, and it was just all sorts up there. Joey was getting his double cobber out to the crowd. It was no good.
Mate, any excuse to flex those biceps.
So, look, I'm holding my hat and hoping the Blues could get the job done in that big day. Although I just feel like the Lions at the Gabba in a final, we probably won't get the job done. I've got memories as a little kid, absolute nightmares of us being 5 goals up at 3/4 time against the Lions and them just running all over us. Jonathan Brown, Brayshaw, mate, they just put on an absolute clinic. It was devastating. I think Locke was running upstairs, bawling his eyes out after that game. Juddy tried his guts out. I tried my guts out, Juddy, and it was no good.
Yeah, mate, I don't think those scars ever do truly heal, I must say.
So, what are your final predictions on this one?
Oh, I'm really biting my tongue when I say this, but I do think the Lions do have us at the Gabba. I'm going to say Lions by 28 points. I reckon it's a convincing win.
Look, I believe the Lions will get up as well. I hope Carlton could, but unfortunately, I don't think we'll get over this hurdle. And unfortunately, I think we are going to lose in a heartache battle by 3 points. It would be devastating.
That would break my heart.
And that puts us to the final game of 2023, the AFL Grand Final. Drop your thoughts right now down below who you think will win this year's Grand Final and if our predictions are good. So let's jump straight into it. Locke, how do you feel about this clash between Melbourne and the D's? Melbourne and the Lions.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the little Lions have had the absolute run from heaven. They've had 2 home finals at the Gabba. They are rested, recuperated, energised, and ready to attack it. But Melbourne, on the other hand, they've also had the big rest, and they don't leave the G. They literally have their sleeping bags and have been at the G for over a month now. So, in my prediction, I think it's going to be one hell of a game.
I also think that would be a cracking game. Brisbane's forward line is so dynamic. You've got Lincoln McCarthy down there flying for mark. Charlie Cameron absolutely lightning. Danaher, Hipwood, some big tall targets. But Melbourne's back line, it is like a rock. Nobody can get past it. So I am predicting a cracking game. Who do you think's going to win?
In that week, I may be dyeing my hair orange because I believe Clayton Oliver is going to put on an absolute clinic. So everyone, get your notepads out. He single-handedly is going to carry the D's to the 2023 AFL Grand Final. Stefan, what do you think?
There you have it. Find your local milk bar and get some orange hair dye. Locke said it. Clary's going to put on a clinic. Start dyeing your hair now. But no, I think it will be a cracking game, although MCG history suggests the Melbourne team gets the job done. We look at it, look at the last 20 years. I reckon on 80% of grand finals, 8 out of 10, the home side just gets it done on Granny Day, the Melbourne team. So I think the D's will get up in a close one. I'm going to go Melbourne by 15 points in the Granny.
And myself is going to say Melbourne by a point. I think it is going to be an absolute perler of a game.
Melbourne by a point. That would be one thrilling grand final. But Barry, thanks a lot for your predictions today.
No worries, Johnny, mate.
I think we got along pretty well there, even though we're rivals back, 17 years ago now in this 05-06 Granny.
Hopefully the Blues can win this year's grand final. And Steph, I think we actually forgot to put the Doggies on the board. Did we? Wait, the Doggies didn't make finals. Unlucky Doggies fan.
Unlucky this year, dog. You knocked us out last year, you prick. So.
And the Blues got you this year. If we won that last game against GWS, you would have been in there, but unlucky boys.
Alright, enjoy your September campaigns, everybody. We're wishing you all the best for your footy finals as well. If you support one of these final 8 sides, all the best in the finals. Hopefully your team can get it done for you. Let's hope the Baggers can win the premiership.
Go the Blues. Da 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 da.